Hello, everybody. It's me, Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it tonight. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday Night Live, where we explore the principles that allow us to thrive in change. No matter what season we're in, no matter what changes we are going through, I'm here to tell you that you can thrive. Sometimes it means your roots are sinking deep. Sometimes it means your branches are growing like crazy and you've got fruit all over the place and flowers are blooming. Whichever season you're in, you are not doing it alone. We're here to help. I'm here to help you to process what you're going through and decide what principles apply so that you can chart your course through whatever change it is that's coming your way. Hello, Philip. I'm glad you're here. Carol, I'm glad you jumped on. So excited for each one of you who's watching. And let's just identify our Thrive principle for tonight's broadcast. It is hashtag respect the now. Respect the now is all about being present, right? Being present, understanding that it is what it is. What we see is important for us to identify so that we know where we're at, so that we can get somewhere else if we want to change, right? So tonight we are talking about respect the now. Sometimes I think we disrespect the now. We discount how impactful right now is. We always think that, the good old days were fantastic. Or we often think that, tomorrow, that's when all the great stuff's going to be kicking out. I'm here to tell you today is the day. Now is the time. Even what you do right now is important. It is life changing. It is legacy building. When we can learn to respect the now, it really does equip us to make the most of change, but also helps us to be anchored in the midst of change. So, respect the now is our Thrive principle. And got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Thumb Roast Coffee. Thumb Roast Coffee is the best coffee on the planet. It is clean. It is roasted locally here in the thumb of Michigan, in Croswell, Michigan, and it is available to you online at thumbroastcoffee.com. You fortunate people. I love my thumb roast so much. I know that some of our longtime Sunday Night Live listeners feel the same way about it. And what's really awesome is if you enjoy coffee, you can go to thumbroastcoffee.com, choose the roast that sounds the best to you. Choose a couple and try them. And then use the coupon code THRIVE, THRIVE, when you check out, and you will get 15% off of your order. And I promise you, it is delicious and you will love it. All right, let's see. Some people popping in. Missy's here. She's here and ready to grow. All right, I love it. Thank you guys for jumping on. So, some of you may have seen the word generator that I posted on my Facebook page, on the Shannon LaBruyere Thrive and Change page. And it's just a fun little thing where you can click the button and it's going to give you a sort of random word that you could use as your focus word of the year. And it's a really fun thing to do. And I popped it and it said boundaries. And some of you might have popped it and gotten a word. It's fun. And some people shrug their shoulders and think, yeah, it's just no biggie, right? What difference does it make? It's just a word. Well, I'm here to tell you there is a lot of power in one word, a lot of power in one word, but it's not the kind of power that we often think. Yesterday, I had the privilege of leading a group of ladies at the River of God Church in Romeo through a workshop where they selected a word if they hadn't already selected one. They selected one word and we talked about the power of that word. And I decided I wanted to share with you a little bit of what is in that workshop because it is life changing and it is mind changing. It really helps us to shift our perspective on words in particular. And so I want to talk about the power of one word. What is the power of one word? Well, I can tell you this. It is not abracadabra, and then a rabbit comes out of the hat like a magician. Choosing one word to focus on for the year is something that started not that long ago. Actually, it started in the 90s. Oh, Mary McCouga's here, and she said it was a great workshop. Yay! That's awesome. And hi, Mary. I'm glad you're here with us live. So we don't. Not everybody. It hasn't been for the last 100 years. People picked a word to focus on. It's a relatively new concept, but regardless of whether it's new or old, it is amazing and it has the potential to be very powerful. But it is not because the word you select for the year is magic, because it is not magic. There is no magic in words. The power of words is not magic. The power of words is in what it does to us as we speak them, as we write them, as we meditate on them. The power of words is not that they're magic, it's that they change us. And then the changed us changes everything else. Some of you guys may remember the teaching I did about if Bob has a problem with everybody, Bob is the problem. Do you remember that one? Talking about how the common denominator when Bob, everywhere he goes, is creating chaos and a ruckus, and people are unhappy, and the work culture goes to pot, and customers are dissatisfied, and it doesn't matter where you put Bob, awful things happen. It's Bob, the common denominator. We we are the common denominator in our own lives. I want you to think about that. The only person who has been in your life for your whole life is you. And as an adult, leaning into tonight's broadcast, leaning into what we're talking about tonight, I want you to consider that if you want change to happen, maybe the thing that needs to change is you. And words have the power to change us. The power of life and death is in the tongue. The Bible teaches us that. It's true. The words we speak change us. There's another really terrific biblical principle that says it isn't what goes into a man that defiles him, it is what comes out. It's what we say. The things we say change us. They make us better or worse. They make the people around us better or worse. Are you following me? There is power in words. So before we jump into just this idea of the power of one word and how it can be powerful in us, I'm going to ask you guys, did you choose a word? Who here chose a word for the year that maybe you've made a bracelet with it, like we did in our workshop at the River of God yesterday, or perhaps you've got it, beautifully written in your calendar or your journal. But if you've chosen a word, share it with us, because the power of that word is in great part in your willingness to share it. Yeah, let's see. Jerry Holland says, speak faith, good words are spoken. Amen. So Carol's word is balance. Balance. Hi, Brianne. I'm glad you're here. She said it was fun. Positive is her word. I love it. I need to be more positive. Mary McCouga says her word is live. Live. I love it. I'll share my word with you. My word is ministry, which blew my mind when I got that download for that word. So I'm kind of excited because listen to me, you guys. This is the power of words. As I even speak that word, my word that I've chosen, it brings excitement and a little bit of discomfort, like, oh, I don't know what to expect with a word like ministry. What does that mean? Uh, I'm not sure what it means. All I know is the word that you picked, the word that I picked, if we allow it to, is going to change us in a powerful and mighty way. I love it. I love it. So I'll share with you one of my most powerful words. One of the words I picked that changed me was the word with, WITH. And that is not a glamorous word, but I chose the word with because I realized that I spent my time serving people or helping people, doing things for them. I did things for people. And as a leader, as a business owner, as a career woman for 31 years, as a parent, I realized by the help of God giving me a revelation, Shannon, you do things for people, but you very rarely allow them to take part and do it with you. Because I'm just going to cut to the chase. I was a bit of a control freak. I wanted to control the outcome. And I knew if I can just keep everything perfect, if I can do it all, then everybody's going to be happy and I will have accomplished great things. And I was wrong. And by choosing the word with, every time I looked at that bracelet and it said with, I had an opportunity to change just a little bit. One word has the power, if you allow it, to change you at your core. It requires focus. It requires being willing to look at different situations in your life through the prism of one word, and the word you choose matters. Is it earth changing, earth shattering? Do you need to have angst and be upset and claw your hair because you can't figure out what word? No, it's not like that. If you don't have a word, I encourage you, go to that word generator on the Thrive and Change page. Scroll down a little bit. I posted it in December. I think it was December. Hit a button, find a word, a good word, a positive word, a word that speaks growth and life, that is hopeful. Get a word and then commit to consistently looking at the decisions you make, the people that you spend time with, the relationships that you build through the prism of that word. And watch how you change. By the end of the first year that I used the word with, I was so much better at truly connecting with people, not just doing things for them and them being grateful and them leaving, but allowing them to join with me to plan, to be excited, to possibly mess up and have to fix it. I was changed as a person. I became more willing to risk allowing somebody to partner with me, to collaborate with me. I became more confident in other people's abilities because I always thought I was going to do it best. That's why I didn't ask them, right? That was just my experience. What word have you chosen that's changed you? What word have you chosen that's changed you? Somebody shared yesterday, and it was one of my clients. She chose the word fearless. And she was embarking on a really huge endeavor. She was going to go get her financial planning certifications. A lot of them, the deep ones, the serious ones, the ones that you have to take tests. And if you flunk the test 3 times, you go flip burgers at McDonald's. And she said that word turned her from a person with trepidation who wanted to quit into somebody who said, I'm not afraid to try again. She was changed. When we are looking at our lives and wanting things to change, a lot of times we are waiting for external forces to come and be different. And we can't guarantee they will be. There is one thing we can guarantee, that we have the ability to choose, and we can choose our outlook, we can choose our actions, we can choose our behavior. There is story after story after story of people in prison camps, like the story of Corrie Ten Boom and the hiding place, where she and her family were convicted of hiding Jews in their home in Holland, and they were thrown into prison camp. And her sister lost her life there. I believe her dad did as well. She was released after several years of being tortured and um, kept in awful conditions. And to read her book and to hear the hope that comes through, she knew she couldn't wait for the circumstances to change, for her to build her faith, to help others, to be kind. It's incredibly moving, incredibly moving. There's only one thing we can truly control, and that is ourselves. And if we are waiting for external circumstances to change before we change, we could be waiting a long time. The beautiful thing is when we choose to make the change, things change. When we choose to do something differently, things change. We're the pebble that gets dropped in the water, or we're the boulder that gets pushed off the cliff. You choose how much impact you want to have, right? The people here, the people here in Thrive and Change want to have big impact. We want to be boulders. All right, let's see what your comments are. So, hi, Samantha. I'm glad you're here. Philip's word is positive. Positive. So, Brienne is also positive. We've got balance, positive. We've got live from Mary. My word is ministry. I know another person whose word is balance. These aren't magic words. Because I chose the word ministry doesn't mean that I have one. Doesn't mean that I'm going to have one. It's not magic. It's not a prediction. But as I approach everything, and I'm going to give you my steps that I'm taking with my word. And I'm going to, for those of you on my mailing list, I'm going to send out over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to send out some helpful tips, if you will, for how to use your word to actually help you to change, to become the person that can do the things that you want to do so that you can have the things that you want to have. So in my case, I'm looking at this word ministry, and I don't particularly want a ministry. That's just honest, you guys. It's not something I've craved. I've not been planning for years that I'm going to have a ministry. I will be honest, I've always considered myself a minister. I've always wanted to minister love to people and light to people and principles to people. So maybe you can relate to that. That feeling of I want to be a minister, but I didn't necessarily want a ministry. And so now as I approach my day, when I wake up in the morning, I think, what am I going to do today? And how would I treat this if this were my ministry? How would I behave? What would I do? I've just begun this process, and I've already seen such amazing changes, not in my external circumstances, but in me, in the way I approach the networking opportunities that I've had. I'm not trying to get business. I'm not trying to drum up business. I'm saying, you know what? I have a ministry. I don't know exactly what it's called. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I know I have one. So what would I do? What do I want to do knowing I have a ministry? Tammy's word is authentic. So think about your word. Think about the word balance or positive. Everything that comes your way can be processed through the prism of the word you've chosen. And that word will be like sunlight coming through a magnifying glass, right? Sunlight is beautiful and it's warm and it'll burn you eventually if you're out there in a while. But if you take a magnifying glass and you hold it just right under the sun, you can start something on fire that fast. Your word is that magnifying glass. Your word is the magnifying glass that is going to allow you to start fire. It concentrates all of the energy in you so that you change exponentially, beautifully, in a positive way. Philip, what happens when you come up against a challenging relationship and you say to yourself, okay, my word's positive. What positive things can I gain from this experience? What positive things can I do to help this other person? Using your word to ask yourself those questions, how can I be the person I need to be because I'm thinking about this word? Deborah says share. Share. How can I share instead of hoard? What does that look like in my life, in your life? There are so many awesome words. I want all of them. I love words. Bring me the words. Give me all the words. But I'm here to tell you that one word is enough to significantly change you. One word is enough to significantly transform you from the inside out. Now, if you think about your word once every 3 weeks, it's not going to change you much. You know how we're talking about that magnifying glass and the sun coming through, concentrated? Your word will transform you in ways that you can't even imagine when you allow it to be concentrated in your life. Where's your reminder? Where have you put the reminder of your word so that you can see it and speak it out loud and use it as a way to gauge, am I being successful? Am I sharing? Am I living, Mary? The decision I make today, is it a decision that's going to allow me to live, or is it going to keep me down? Shannon, the decision you make today about whether you go to breakfast or not with your friend, how does that connect to your ministry and what God's called you to do? When I ask myself that question, it changes me. But I have to ask that question every day. Wherever you put your word, I encourage you, speak it, see it, write it, use it consistently every day. Ask yourself, how did this show up? How did this show up for me? It's a great way before you start your day to say, how am I going to display this word today? What do I need to remember to make sure that I have balance, for example? But it's also a great way to reflect on your day, bookends, if you will, of your one word. How did I minister today? What were my opportunities to share? What did I share? Did I share myself? Did I share my resources? Did I share my opinions? Did I share, or did I just drop a bomb on people and tell them what I think? How did I share? Was it effective? What's new in me now because I shared? You guys, you can play with this word. Write it over and over. Ask yourself, where do I see this show up? Who do I know that displays this word in a beautiful way? The possibilities are endless. You don't need a million words. You need one word that becomes your magnifying glass. Missy says, thank you. I needed the reminder to use my magnifying glass. Setting a daily reminder in my phone now. Yeah, use those tools that you have at your disposal to make sure that you don't forget, because your one word will change you. And when you change, everything else changes too. The truth of the matter is that the conditions you find yourself in right now are exactly the conditions you should expect to find yourself in. What you see around you, what you've achieved, what you've accomplished, your circumstances are a direct result of the choices the current you has made up to this point. If you want a better life, more impact, if you want positive change, fill up positive, right? If you want good things, you are going to have to change in order to get them. And when you change for the better, when you grow, like I think it was Brother Holland said, speak faith, right? When you grow through the words that you use, now you're in a position to get those things that you said you wanted to have. You've become the person who can handle them, who can deal with them. You've grown into that. It doesn't take a million words. One word used as a magnifying glass over time in your life will change you to the point where you will not even believe you're the same person. I kept my word with for 2 years. And I have a feeling I'm going to have to go back to it because old habits die hard. But I will tell you this, I experienced so much growth, so much grace as I learned to do things with people, learn to think thoughts with them, to collaborate with them, to not tell people what to do, but to hear what they had to say, allow them to be with me on my journey, which means, Tammy, being authentic. So much came into play when I chose my one word. You are no different. I believe that the word you chose is yours for a purpose and a reason. I believe that it is going to accomplish something amazing in you. And I also believe that your word is connected like this to your story. Somebody else may have the same word, but they don't have your story. They don't have your story. What does that word mean to you? Embrace it, love it, live it, allow it to change you. And when you change, everything around you changes. When you change, what you see changes. The opportunities you get change. The faith that you embrace and manifest changes when you change. One word. Through the power of God, who says, meditate on good things. If it's good, if it's true, if it's honest, if it's lovely, if it's of good report, if there's anything good about it, if there's anything praiseworthy about it, think on it. Think on those things. Your word, it's true, it's honest, it's lovely, it's praiseworthy, it's good. Think on it. Allow God to use it to change you. And you will be amazed at the power of just that one word. So as we're wrapping up, anybody have anything you want to share? What's popping up for you as we're talking about this idea of just one word? Are you thinking that's ridiculous? Maybe you're rolling your eyes. If you are, it's okay. That's okay. I'd love for you to try it, though. I'd love for you to try it. If you are not on my mailing list, just drop it in the comments that you'd like to be. I'll send you a direct message and you can send me your email if you don't want to put your email out on Facebook. If you want to put your email on Facebook, go right ahead. And I'll pop you into my email list. And so this week, when I start sending out the prompts, if you will, to help you get the most out of your word, you won't miss a thing. And I would love to be able to do that for you. So just send me a direct message drop me a comment. I'll send you a direct message and let you know how to get on the list. And with that, let's wrap up. What do you have to say before we go? So glad you were here. Mary, I'm glad you're here. Brianna, I'm glad you were here. Deborah, was good to see you. Jerry, I'm always glad. Philip, I'm so glad. You guys, you're all awesome. I'm just glad to see you. Missy, always a delight. Our Thumb Roast Coffee owner who sponsors this so generously. It's always good to hear you. So Carol says, doing it every year has brought great change in my life. It is so worth working on. And Carol says, love you sharing your with. Yeah, what a weird word. Don't second guess your words, you guys. If you have a weird word, that's okay. Just lean in, see what happens. When God gave me the word with, I didn't know what to do with that. I really wanted something like triumphant or conqueror. Yeah, I was motivated. And the word I got as I prayed and meditated and asked God to help me was with. Come on. That's a boring word, but boy, it's transformed me. My word this year is a little bit easier to understand for people. Like I don't have to explain like I used to with ministry. But for me, I am really looking forward to this journey of what does ministry mean to me? What does it mean to have one? What does it mean to be a minister in a ministry? There's so much I'm going to ask myself. I'm excited and uncomfortable, but that's what growth feels like. Oh, Brienne says, I'm excited to write it all over my classroom tomorrow. Thank you. You write it all over. Absolutely. Share it. Share the joy. You guys are fantastic. You bring me great joy, and I'm always honored that you would tune in. Take care. God bless you. I love you, and I will see you again next week. Bye.